All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Lachakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. This is an article that I found today. All right, it came out around September. Okay, on this microchip. Okay, and really going into the enticing, all right, of people with this chip. You know, making it more and more enticing. So that people can be more inclined to take this chip. Okay, so it says microchip implants are going from tech geek novelty to genuine health tool, and you might be running out of good reasons to say no. See, and that's why I'm gonna pull up this precept. Here, all right, Revelations 13 verse 6, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. Let's look at the word cause. All right. What do you have here? Wow. Whole lot. Okay. It says to make. All right, let's find out the suitable definition. With the names of things made, to produce, to construct, to form, to fashion, to be the authors, the cause of, to make ready, to prepare, to produce, because they are the producers, and they're preparing it. All right, to bear, shoot forth, to acquire, to provide a thing for oneself, make a thing out of something, render one to anything. There it is, render one to anything. That's what they're gonna do. Okay. Cause one to. All right. To carry out, to execute, to make ready, so that the time to make ready, and so at the time to institute the celebration of the Passover, to perform to a promise. All right, and all these things, Salakia, are really going into making somebody do something. Now, the one that I found best, to render one anything, okay, which is what they're gonna do, and they're gonna start off by making it enticing, trying to entice the people, okay, but it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna make it mandatory, okay, and that's why you're gonna have martyrs in this truth, you know, men that are gonna die because they're gonna deny the chip, you know, because of course they're gonna make it enticing, but what happens when people are not enticed by it, you know? Then they're gonna just force it upon you. And that's why he's saying you might be running out of good reasons to say no. Well, the man of the Lord ain't gonna run out of good reasons. We don't need reasons. We only need a reason, which we have. All right, and that's the Lord told us not to. Okay, so that is no. It says when Patrick McCullen first heard in early 2017 that thousands of Swedish citizens were unlocking their car doors and turning on coffee machines with a wave of their palm, he wasn't too impressed. Yeah, because it's like, okay, what's the big deal with that? That's not a necessity. That's just a quote-unquote convenience. All right, it says sure, the technology, a millimeters long microchip equipped with near field communication capabilities and lodged just under the skin, had a niche, cutting edge appeal, but in practical terms, a fob or passcode would work just as well. Exactly. See, but when they make it to the point where the chip is it's either the chip or nothing, that's when people are gonna understand, or they're gonna see, oh shoot, they're gonna want to take the chip. Okay, because what is this? Opening your car door, you can open that. You can open that with your keys. You can, your coffee machine, whatever, you can turn that on by yourself. You don't need a chip for that. But they're gonna make it to where the things that you need, you're gonna require an RFID chip implant to be able to access those things, whether it be work, okay, primarily to pay for things. All right. Hey, you just might go homeless because what? you're gonna need a chip, all right, to pay for your bills, okay. And you know, if you can't do that, well, it says, but hey, but the Lord said what? The Lord said He's gonna take care of His men, so we have nothing to worry about. McCullen, a 20-year-old veteran in the tech industry, wanted to do one better, to find a use for implantable microchips that was genuinely functional, not just abstractly nifty. In July 2017, news cameras watched as more than 50 employees at the Three Square Market, the vending solutions company where McCullen is president, voluntarily received chip implants of their own. they voluntarily received it, so they can count themselves out of it. you know, the scriptures say, man. All right, the scriptures are very, very clear as to the directions concerning this mark of the beast, the microchip. This is Revelations 14, verse 9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in their forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. That is something that, hey, nobody should even think of desiring, man. Okay, but you willingly taking that chip, man, you're setting yourself up for this. Well, too late now, okay, because whoever took that chip, man, it's over. All right. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. All right. So that is your fate. For those of you who already took it, you got dudes out here voluntarily taking it. So, and man, it says rather than a simple scan to, now you have dudes who are already taking this chip and it wasn't even mandatory. you know, it's not mandatory yet. So how much more when it is? It says, rather than a simple scan to function process like most of Sweden's chips use, the chips and readers around 3 square markets, River Falls, Wisconsin office were all part of multi-stage feedback network, all part of a multi-stage feedback network. For example, your chip could grant you access to your computer, but only if it had already unlocked the front door for you that day. Now, McCullen says of last summer, I've actually done something that enhances our network security. All right, so it says, I'll read it again. I've actually done something that enhances our network security. See, and when you the new article that came out about the UK companies that are trying to chip their employees, they said, well, for security reasons, so that certain people can get access to files that are restricted to them. All right, and certain things like that. But they have so many different avenues and different fronts that they're trying to push this chip on. Okay, whether it's health, financial, security, business, they're trying to put all of that. Okay, and that's all going to be a part of that temptation. Okay, the hour of temptation, man. It says the problem McCullen's chips cleverly solve is relatively small scale, but it's still a problem. And any potential new use case represents a significant step towards Salaki, a significant step forward for a chip evangelist like him. Damn, that's wicked. It says, as for the most technologies, the tipping point of implantable chips will come when they become so useful they're hard to refuse. See? When they become so useful, they're hard to refuse. That's part of the temptation, and that's what these elites are planning to do, is to make it to the point where desperation sets in so hard, and it hits so hard that you can't do anything without the chip. You need the chip to do this, to do that, and that's what's gonna make it quote unquote useful and tempting. I can't pay my bills without it. I can't do anything without it because America is a transaction-based corporation. Therefore, if you don't have the key to making these transactions, then you can't live here. That's how hard they're gonna make it. It says it could happen sooner than you think. See? In September 2017, 3 Square Market launched off an offshoot 3 Square chip that is developing the next generation of commercial microchip implants with a slew of originative health features that could serve as the best argument yet that microchips' benefits can outweigh our anxieties about them. See, they're promoting it. Now, guess what, man? What they're not considering is the other side of what they can do to you with these microchips, because you're at the mercy of those of whoever is controlling those chips, man. There has to be somebody controlling it. FEMA ordered what 50,000 tailor-made chips, which they were more worried about putting what's the word I'm looking for? Basically altering it, right? Making it tailor-made to where they can actually cause harm and damage with it. So they're enticing you on one side, but they're really trying to enslave you, because you're gonna be at their mercy if you like having an electrical collar around your neck, and you're being told to do something. If you don't, it shocks you. That's basically what they're trying to do. All right. And if you do that, man, you surrender yourself to Esau. So on top of that, you're gonna be destroyed by the Most High. It says here, though new to the American workplace in this implantable form, radio frequency identification (RFID) technology has been around for decades and has long been considered secure enough for commonplace use. So what are they waiting for? They're setting it all up to where they don't have to wait anymore. They want to set it up to where they can just set it off and it just goes in a motion, which ultimately the Most High is the one orchestrating all that. It says the RFID ear tags are used to register almost all farm and ranch livestock with the U.S. National Animal Identification System in Australia, and the system is mandatory. See, but very soon it's going to be worldwide. It's going to be mandatory. If you've checked luggage on a Delta, because that's how they're gonna keep track of you, and they're gonna say, well, kind of like how they treat quote unquote illegal immigrants, as to if you're not documented, then you can't be in here. Well, they're gonna tell you if you're not chipped, we can't keep track of what you're doing, and that's a danger to us because you could be doing some quote unquote terrorist activities. Therefore, we need you to take that chip, or else you're gonna need to be put to death. You know, it says and with their fabricated disorders nowadays with what ODD, oppositional defiance disorder. So guess what? If you're against what they're saying, if they're telling you to get microchipped and you say no, well, you're against the state, you're an enemy of the state, and you have ODD. Therefore, we have to give you that chip because you're mentally disabled. you know, these devils come up with anything, man, and justify it. It says if you've checked luggage on a Delta Airlines flight, you can thank RFID luggage tags for the fact that your bag arrived at the same destination you did. And you probably already have a personal RFID chip that goes everywhere with you with you it's in your credit card. Yeah, but not in your hand. But what are they trying to do? They said don't even worry about all that. We're just gonna make you one with technology. It says but of course, the fear surrounding RFID implants has little to do with RFID itself and everything to do with implantation. Of course, because this doesn't belong in your body. It doesn't belong in your body. The Most High, if he found it necessary for us to have chips in our body, he would have created us with that. All right. It says American pets safely receive RFID implants without complicating every day, or slack without complication every day. Even so, many of their owners um, would cite something akin to safety as a reason not to get one of their own. When a company called Verichip developed its own healthcare-oriented microchip implants in the early aughts, its research indicated that 90% of Americans were uncomfortable with the technology. Yeah, because right now it's not a need. It's weird because it's not necessary. They don't need it. All right. But I bet you when they lose everything they have now, that chip is going to sound like the best thing they've heard. All right. The company got FDA approved for its devices in 2004, but folded just 3 years later, in large part due to studies that suggested a potential link between RFID transponders and cancer in lab animals. The risks of cancer caused by RFID have since been found to be virtually non existent for humans and negligible for animals. And one 2016 study even suggested that embedded active RFID transponders within cancerous tumors could be an effective means for treatment. Man, they're pushing for this real hard. All right. There was a certain part, all right, that stood out to me, and I'm trying to see if I can find it. Yeah, there it is. All right. It says a decade later, floating through the eruptive hula around Three Squares chip party were all kinds of fears, some credible, some less so, about the dangers of introducing subdermal radio technology to the American workplace. That companies might make widespread use of this technology mandatory, which they're already planning on. They're already trying to do that in the UK. It says, or that implemented microchips might be hacked or used to track wearers. It's a radio frequency identification chip. The same thing that it does in animals, so you can know where your animal is. And the example they just gave about tracking your luggage, That's what it mainly does. Okay, so of course it's gonna be able to track you no matter what they tell you. All right, they can tell you lies till it's in your body and you can't take it out anymore. Okay, it says uh where was I? Here it is. Or that hands might be severed in the name of home breaking ins. Many critics, including state legislators working to pass bills that would restrict RFID implants, are fearful that the mental components and circuitry in the chips would mean certain death if a wearer were exposed to an MRI machine or defibrillator. It says, then there are broader fears about the use of the chip technology to track humans. Before damning research halted Verichip's growth, the company's chairman suggested in 2006, in a 2006 appearance on Fox and Friends, that Verichip implants could be used to register migrant workers at the border and verify their identity in the workplace. You see, this could be an alternative, all right, to tracking and making sure that all these quote unquote, so with all these caravans, right, these migrants that are coming to the border, what can they say? Well, you know what? With all these migrants coming to the border, matter of fact, instead of just denying them, we can just chip them and put them in a FEMA camp. You know, that way we're accounting for them. They don't have to wait years for papers and so on and so forth. They can just take the chip. All right, and with that chip, they'll be good. We'll keep track of them, and that's basically what he just said. All right, and now they need a place to stay. Oh well, we have FEMA camps built for you. Look up Rex 84 King Alfred plan, and that allowed them to do it. All right, they have facilities all over the world specifically for that purpose. And when that whatever they're planning to do, when they do it and they declare that state of emergency, a lot of you are gonna find your asses in there. All right, and it's not gonna end well for you if the Lord is not with you. All right, so it says where was I? To verify their identity in the workplace. That same year, former Colombian President Alvaro Uribe reportedly proposed to then senators Arlen Specter and Jeff Sessions that the chips could be implanted into Colombian workers before they entered the United States for seasonal work. Meanwhile, some fundamentalist Christian communities remain convinced that the microchip implant is the manifestation of the biblical portended mark of the beast. Now, where do you think they heard that information? You know, having the elders and brothers on down been pushing this information for years. Where do you think they heard that? It says, but the primary challenge to RFID implants remain the simple underlying question posed over and over in response to the tech: is this really necessary? Well, they're gonna make it to where you're not even thinking of questions like that. And you're gonna have a lot of these so-called Christians where their pastors are gonna deceive them and tell them, no, it's okay to take the chip. That's not the mark of the beast. Because right now, their problem will be Christians who believe that it's the mark of the beast. So if they can, with all these pastors having a 501c3 charters, if they can have the pastor convince the congregation, the quote-unquote Christian congregation, all right, that is not the mark of the beast and that they can take it, then what? They have that side on lock. But over here, the real men of the Lord, the prophets of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and those that are that take heed to the word, the message, we're not gonna take that chip. We don't have we don't go to these whorehouses and listen to those bald pork chop eating pastors lie to us, man. All right, we go by the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, and what we know is not to take that chip. So regardless of what it is, how enticing, man, we're gonna pray, keep that faith, and not take that chip, even if it's at the cost of our lives. So be it. All right, our faith. All right, and our duty to prove our faith to Yahweh by Shem Yahushai is more important than our lives. All right, because what is death? Death is just going to sleep. And the Lord said, if you give up your life for the Lord, all right, if you stay faithful to Him unto the end, man, you're set. You know, heck, if hey, look, I speak for myself, man. If I was put in a predicament where, they told, you either you take this chip or you get beheaded. Listen, man, give me that one-way ticket to the kingdom, bro. All right, take the head off. That's it. Cut it clean. That's it, man. I'll see you when I come back in them chariots, Lord willing. That's the mindset you gotta be in. Like, yo, so what? What do you want to really be alive for? In the time of Jacob's trouble, right? They telling you, if you don't take this chip, we're gonna kill you. You really want to take a chip and live in a post-apocalyptic world as a slave to Edomites? Nah. Listen, man. Where the guillotine at, man? I'm not with this. All right. I'm staying faithful to y'all by Shemel Shai. That's the mindset. You know, that's the kind of mindset the Lord is pleased with, man. One who's gonna be faithful unto death. All right, like the scriptures say. Let me put that up. Ah, lives in the Apocrypha. I believe it might be in the Apocrypha. There it is. Ecclesiasticus 4:28. Strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. See? So listen, over here, man, we giving it our all. All right. So I'll read this little portion right here, you know, and I'll end it there. It says, in 1998, the British scientist Kevin Warwick, known by the moniker Captain Cyborg, became the first human to receive the RFID microchip implant. But then, since development has been slow, Kayla Heffernan, a researcher in the Department of Computing and Information Systems at the University of Melbourne School of Engineering, blames the fact that chipping hasn't yet been accepted widely on what she sees as a chicken and egg problem. People don't get them because they are not useful enough yet. See? But because they are not, it says people don't get them because they're not useful enough yet, but because there's not a market, the devices remain relatively unchanged. See? And very soon, man, people are going to be lining up to take these chips. You know? The world is going to become a very, very different place than you know it to be. All right? Very, very soon, man. Very, very soon. So, hey, just prepare, man. This is just more news on the mark of the beast because we're in that time. We're in that time, man. All right, and you're gonna see a lot of things befalling you in the times to come, man. You're gonna see a lot of things. All right, Lord willing, we be of that elect. The Lord's gonna protect us and provide for us in that day. All right, so keep enduring. You know what I mean? Keep pleasing the Lord, man, and Lord willing, we could gain salvation out of this place, man. All right. I want to give all praises to Yahweh by Shemel Shai. I hope that was edifying unto the elect. Until next time, Shalom.